perseverance. It is the essential quality for success because there are no shortcuts. So, how do you develop perseverance? By learning to persist despite problems. Is there anybody here who doesn't have problems? Of course not. So what we need to learn, most important in life, is your attitude towards problems. And that's what we are going to discuss. So the first thing then is to expect problems. As Murphy's law states, if anything can go wrong, it will. Many people, when they have a problem in their work, they say, "Oh God, I've got a problem." However, the only way you can justify your job is that there are problems which you are solving. If there were no problems, then you cannot justify why you're getting paid. So, expect problems. Just like when you are going uphill, you know the going will be tough. So how do you know that you are progressing? The sign is there are problems which are arising. And if no problems are arising, then you are not progressing. So number one is to expect problems, and number two is to anticipate them. You see, if your child is born, people immediately think he will be the next Shravan Kumar. And when he turned out to be Rakshas Kumar after 16 years, "Hi, main to mar gaya." Why did you not anticipate that these problems can happen? So anticipate, don't feel surprised. One child, he texted his mother, and he said, "Mom, I have flunked in math. Prepare Dad." The mother texted him back, "Dad is prepared. Prepare yourself." Now that is when you start anticipating a problem. And number three is to face the problem. Not like the ostrich, you put your head in the mud and there is no problem. So face the problem. There was a famous TV commercial many years ago of the elephant in the house. There was a baby elephant in the room. And the members of the family were going about their work pretending that there is no elephant. Just by ignoring the problem, it doesn't go away. So the proper attitude is you face the problem, accept that there is a problem. We are all in Maya because we are bereft of God consciousness. So you all have a problem. And then put the problem in its proper perspective. Don't blow it out of proportions. It is only a problem. Sometimes we make mountains out of molehills. I meet somebody, "Swamiji, I will not come to Satsang." See, I go around to so many Satsang centers. "Why don't you come?" "I will not come to Satsang." "My, what is the matter? Such a big problem. What happened?" "You know, 4 weeks ago, that other Satsangi, he said you don't comb your hair properly." I said, "My, such a problem? Somebody said you don't comb your hair properly." Is this really as big a problem as your mind has made it out to be? Supposing you were born 80 years ago and you were in the World War and you were lying in the trenches, now that would have been a real problem. And this is not such a big problem. One girl, she graduated from school and then she went to college, and after 3 months in her college dormitory, she wrote a letter to her mother. It was a handwritten note which was delivered by post. So the mother was so delighted, I'm receiving a message from my darling daughter. So the message she started reading, "My dear mom, I need to confess to you that after 1 month in the dormitory, I made a mistake." So the mother's heart came into the mouth. What mistake? And then she continued reading in a very pensive state. "Mother, I actually stole $50 from my roommate. And with that, I rented a motorcycle. And I was riding this motorcycle. Unfortunately, I crashed into the electric pole and fractured my thigh bone." The mother says, such a big problem. But mother, there was nothing to worry about because there was this handsome doctor living in the same lane and he took me and nursed me in his home. And mother, we have fallen in love and decided to get married. Mother says, end of the world is coming, Mahapralay. And mother, the only problem is that there is some disease that keeps showing up in the blood test. I hope it gets resolved before the child pops out. The mother said, what is going on here? And mother, I need you to know that after marriage, I and my husband-to-be are going to come and stay with you and Papa. Because in nursing me, he has lost his job. And do know that he is from a different religion and he'll keep trying to convert you, but I'm sure you will enjoy his company. The mother was pulling her hair out of the head. The last she had written, "Mother, actually none of this is true. The only thing that happened is I got an F in calculus." I wanted you to see it in its proper perspective. It is an F in calculus. It could have been far worse, isn't it? So put the problem in its proper perspective. One little boy, he had the telescope on his window, looking in through the big lens, and he had the little lens towards the window. His father came and said, "Beta, that's not the way you use the telescope. You have to look through the little lens." The boy said, "Papa, my class bully is in the street. I am putting him in the proper perspective. He is a tiny marble and no bigger." And that is the attitude towards the problem. And then beyond that, learn from the problem. In other words, when you solve a problem, you learn. So it is all right to make mistakes, but not to make same mistakes again. Once I was in Delhi, in my ashram there, and I was walking down the street. A neighbor was walking from the other side. I discovered that my neighbor, his ear was swollen. So I asked him, "Pandeji, kya hua?" Pandeji said, "Swamiji, I was ironing my shirt and my mobile rang. So by mistake, I put it out here." I said, "Oh, Pandeji, so bad. This is really unfortunate. But how come your other ear is also swollen?" He said, "Swamiji, that stupid fool rang a second time, so I put it like this." Now he's not willing to learn. The Japanese say you fall 19 times, but get up 20 times. If you stumble, it is to learn the secret of a better walking. So, how do you learn from problems then? You see, it all depends on your attitude. If you keep the proper attitude, these problems, they become blessings in disguise. My favorite story, you have heard it from me before. There was this boy who studied in his nature science class in grade 4 how the caterpillar weaves a cocoon around it to hibernate inside. And then the ugly caterpillar, after a few weeks, emerges as the beautiful butterfly. So this boy returning from school discovered the cocoon on the rose bush in his courtyard. He said, "Wow, my personal laboratory. I will see the miracle of nature unfolding right here." Now, every day going to school and returning, he would check his cocoon. Has the butterfly come out or not? Until one day, the tear was visible. It was a Saturday, so every hour he was coming to check. And by midday, noontime, the butterfly was emerging. The transformation had taken place. It was tearing apart its house for many weeks. And he was looking at it transfixed. So the butterfly came out more and more and more until it was halfway through, and then it got jammed. It was trying its best, struggling. And the cocoon was bobbing up and down, but the butterfly was not making progress. He thought, my, this creature has got a serious problem. So he ran home, got his pair of scissors and snipped the cocoon. Shutti mili. He thought the butterfly will fly off. It fell to the ground. He found it cringing around in circles. He wondered what was wrong. He found that the stomach was swollen and the wings were shriveled. He thought this would correct itself, without realizing this would now never be. That struggle was a necessary aspect of the evolution of the butterfly. By striving hard, it would have pushed the fluid from the stomach into its wings. Without that struggle, the wings would remain ever shriveled. In the same way, when God puts problems in our path, it's not because He hates us or He wants to torture us. He wants us to face these hardships and become a better person by virtue of it. It is God's way of helping us fill our wings for the flight ahead. However, in our lack of spiritual intelligence, we don't understand. And we also look for somebody to snip away all the problems, without realizing that growth and progress happens in facing difficulties and hardships. Somebody said, "I prayed to the Lord for wisdom. He gave me problems to solve that I may become wise. I prayed to the Lord for courage. He gave me dangers to surmount that I may become courageous. I prayed to the Lord for strength. He gave me obstacles to surmount that I may grow in strength. I prayed to the Lord for love. He gave me the needy and downtrodden to serve that I may develop love. My prayers were answered not in the way I wanted, but in the way that was best for me." So this is the attitude towards problems. If you have the right attitude, then every problem can accelerate your growth. By facing the problems, that is how you grow physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, in every way. So, the third secret to awaken your best self is persevere. The scriptures say, "Charai vaite, charan vai madhu vindati." Keep on going. The one who persists will get the nectar at the end.